Roses International Freedom Giant as a breakthrough. Alright, so you can take your seat. Thank you. And the next person I would like to invite is equally, in fact, they are all African freedom giants. So this second person is the most phenomenal freedom giant. And in 2017, I don't know whether people went to the Legon students, Legon alumni 2017 batch. He actually vied for the SRC presidential position in the person of freedom giant Pidio Jefano. If he's around, he can take his seat for me. Oh, the clappers are shooting that next. Yes, so the next time we have this program, you are going to be the next. I'll be calling your name to join me on my right. And the last person is also a freedom giant. Like I said, they are all freedom giants. And the person of Madame Precious Uploading. This family, if I don't get the name right, but she's still family a freedom giant. Yes. She is also a founder of Precious Inspires, so I'm sure I have to advertise for her by letting her mention her handle on social media after probably the program so that we can all join and then get inspired sometimes. Right. So I'm going to also take my seat. We are going to start the dialogue soon. But before I begin, I think I would like to sing a song. Because please pardon me, my voice is not really nice, so I'm learning how to sing. What all our freedom giants and people can talk about, they spoke about being bold, being confident, being one as African people. And I'd like to reiterate the fact that in doing all these, we need to love one another. Just like freedom giants Alberta said, if we don't have love and you claim that you want to change Africa, I don't think you, really want to change Africa. Because if you don't have love, how do you start changing something? You don't like the thing and you want to do the thing. It doesn't work that way. So if you continue, you can join me, that let there be love shared amongst us as we try to change or intend to change Africa and make it a better place in the global anatomy for us to stay. Oh, Mr. Guitarist, I know you're ready. So pick my key. I think I sing in Z. So you can give me a key like that. Let there be love shared amongst us. Let there be love in our hearts. Let there be love shared amongst us. Let there be love. Oh, let there be love shared amongst us. Let there be love in our hearts. Let there be love shared amongst us. Let there be love. And give us a fresh understanding of brotherly love in our hearts. Let there be love shared amongst us. Let there be love. The last part again. Give us a fresh understanding of brotherly love in our hearts. Let there be love shared amongst us. Let there be love. So as I have for me, let there be love while we change Africa. Thank you. My voice wasn't really bad. I'm still learning. Right. So beginning the I know a lot of people are surprised. Like, hey, we're crowdfunding. When I finish learning, you can imagine. You will see me on the American Idol shortly. Don't worry, don't worry. Right. So I welcome my panelists again. Welcome panelists and welcome my dear audience. You're actually part. Just that we need to bring a few people on so that they share with us. We are actually going to open the forum. So while we are listening, you can pen down certain things, or probably if you can record or something, you can bring out your questions if you have any suggestions, recommendations to make the floor will be open. So, beginning. Hey, please. It looks like we need to the drink sharings. I mean, yes, we need to start, please. But please, in doing so, like I said earlier, I see some hungry faces. But while you're enjoying yourself, kindly pay attention so that we can get the full info. Okay, so beginning with, would like to know, I don't know, I think the very first time I saw this, in doing that, I think the distractions will have to minimize a little bit for me. Right. Program, in fact, this hasn't been my first program. I don't know if those who join us online, if you've been joining us online from the start, the programs you've had virtually. I've been the moderator, I've been the host as well at some point. And before that, the very first time I was told that I have to moderate a program, I was like, now guy we crossing. What is the meaning of moderation in the first place? Because I mean, meeting me baby, I've been working and all of a sudden you meet me and you're like, you see the potential in me. Why is he a prophet? I was about to tell you he's a prophet of doom. Like, how can you see me and then just tell me I can host a program? But I realized that these little things we do actually opens up opportunities for us to, how do you call it? Reveal or portray what is inside us, what is really in us. Because, like, I think I really enjoyed the speech Freedom Giant Alberta gave. Because in speaking, she was like, she had a speech and put it somewhere, and then whatever she said, I mean, you can see that the fire was in her, but it wasn't really lit like how she is now. Probably if you saw her initially, she wouldn't have been like how she is. I mean, talking to people. I mean, some people I know will not even stand in front of people of five, in a group of five, or even before three people to even talk. But this kind of light has been shone in her that she can stand in front of people, about 20 of us here, and you can see that that growth is coming in and all. And in doing so, coming back to mine, I was like, fine, I'm going to do it, but if this is virtual, because if you've checked those who joined the virtual, I never brought my face. And they were like, no, more than a picture too. Flyers, why it's enough. I don't put it now, come and see my face, and then what am I going to say? Intention before. So they've been coming here. I just didn't know what I was going to say. I just didn't know what I was going to do. But I mean, if you don't have that confidence in you in the first place, I don't think you would even want to. Like one of them said, you have to have that passion. You have to let that light in you. Unless you make up your mind that, oh, I want to let the light in me shine. Other than that, no. It is a no-go area for you at all. So I'm going to start by letting one of our panelists explain to us what terraforming the future is. Because somebody will sit there and I'm like, bro, focus here, meaning terraform. The very last one we had, I remember, was the quintessential nyama nyama be. I'm like, I even showed it to my roommate and she was like, now bro, focus here, being using them and their quintessential tool. And I mean, it's not bad using big Englishes, but I'm like, can't we pay bro for the doctor? Now, bro, focus here. Mr. President, I'd like to know the very last meeting we had, something as a quintessential tool in eschewing political operation. The very first time I heard eschew was in my SHS. My English teacher will come to assembly and come and say, You girls should eschew the wearing of cardigans. The wearing of cardigans, eschew them. So when I saw it, I was like, well, look, eschew is here, fine, I know that, and I've heard it before. And this time, quintessential. My roommate, boy, cranting in here, and breaking, yeah, I mean, you're talking about Africa, quintessential to eschewing political oppression. What will be that? What will be this? And today, too, we've met another one, terraforming. In fact, I haven't heard it before. When I went to check it, they were giving me some plenty science terms and all. So today, he's going to explain, and I'm actually going to let him explain why he uses such big Englishes. Because if we should meet a layman and then show this to him. Oh, I'm inviting you for a program. This is what it's about. And then he sees this big English. He may not even read in the first place, not to talk of wanting to come. What is it about? What are we talking about if we are saying that we are going to terraform the future? Is it that we are going to, I don't know, if I break it, I don't know how it's actually going to sound like terra and then forming. So what will be the terra and what is the form? Forming, I know that you're making something or molding something or maybe the terra and so no. It's Mr. President. Please would like to know, we are talking about terraforming the future. What would it be?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to first of all commence the One African Freedom Dialogue, which is meant to open the eyes of everyone to see the debilitating threats in the global anatomy and how we can come out as giants to be the standards of change everywhere we are. I won't go long on this, but I'll just quickly brief us on the definition of terraforming the future. We are a board. It's very unfortunate our vice president is not available, and he's on a project. Our organization is also available, and a few of my colleagues are not available. But this was a theme that was set forth for this program. When we talk about terraforming the future, we simply mean to create the future. To create the future. And why did we say we want youth of our age in this century to create, inform, and create the future? It's simply because our current settings have been dehumanized. They have been pulverized, they have been annihilated, they have been destroyed. Their good air has been polluted. So all we see is corruption. All we see is adversity. And if we are to allow ourselves to go in this framework, we'll also grow and be mediocre people. We'll also grow and be corrupt people. We'll grow and be translated into this normal framework of corruption. We are 50% cool, we are 50% also influence into the adverse work. But if we want to really work as we don't understand, we need to understand who we are and build the future. Create the future that we want to create. Build the future we want to create. Take those steps. And that's why we're having this freedom dialogue. Honestly speaking, we're supposed to have a rehearsal of today's dialogue, but we didn't have it because we knew the phenomenal experiences in every panelist here, and we knew what they have inside them, which would lead to a terraforming nature of the global anatomy. We know they have the essence of influencing the global anatomy. We know there's something in them. We're open for them to air their views. These are people who have stood up for the right thing. I'm so humbled to be by Madam Precious Aplome. I told her that, I don't know what I should say though, but I told her that if she was my age mate, I would have married her. Oh. I told her the first day I met her. Because she's so different. When you box onto my next setting partner, that's Freedom Giant, Jipano Video, who is a legend. He was the most phenomenal film giant for the people aware. He's someone who has stood through all the tests and trials and has not been influenced to stand out for mediocrity. He stood in for the SLC presidential candidate at Legon and he didn't win. But he didn't say that's it all. He didn't say I'm going to just lie down and settle for how things are. But he kept on doing bigger and bigger and bigger because he knew it was never the position. I personally was a PA to a diplomat. I've been to the presidential office in Joby. I was going to a lot of places with him where my purpose for him. But I realized that this not going to take me to the right places. He was creating a mediocre framework in my mind and mediocre ideology that I must leave and terraform my own future. It's not about the money. He's been calling me and saying that, Isaac, I have a place at Tantra. I want you to come and take the place. What card does he have? But that will lead me into doom. That will lead me into me bringing children who don't realize who they really are, what they stand for. So it doesn't matter where you are from, whether you live in a hut. If you can build the future from now, be able to look at the global anatomy and make it better off. So we are here today to let every freedom giant know that we must create the systems, we must create the platforms, we must build the avenue for a change in the global anatomy. Thank you.
Forming, making it your own. I mean, being innovative and creative enough to change or make things how you want it to be. Next up, we would like to know what will be. Oh, Jim, you've been given birth. I mean, it's no mistake being in Africa. It's no mistake being given birth to in Ghana. But why would you be minding your own business and then you just stand up one day and say, I want to terraform the global anatomy? Who has asked you? Will you get paid? So we want to know, why is it important for us to terraform or create the future we want as Africans? And in doing that, we would like Freedom Giants, Precious, Aplome to explain that for us, why it is important for us to create or change or terraform the future we need now.
Thank you. So in our homes, let me start that way. In our homes, are there situations where probably we see certain things that we are not okay with, that we usually want to change? That's the first thing we need to think about. What is that thing that while at home you are not so pleased with it, that you feel that if this thing is changed, it might help? So that is one of the key things that gives us the mindset to change or to bring about a change wherever we find ourselves. I usually say, pardon me to say this, when I hear people talk about fix the country, fix the country, fix the country, I think a friend of mine had a quarrel with me. We were talking and it was like, the president, they are not doing anything, people are just chopping money, they have to fix the country. I'm like, fix yourself first. And it was like, why should you tell me that? I'm like, wherever you find yourself, wherever you are working, you are the president of that place. What change are you bringing on board? What are you trying to change there? And you know, when we are trying to fix the country, it starts from us. It starts from our mindsets. Is it that fixed mindset that we have or the growth mindset that we have? What is that thing that you are looking out for? I am a teacher by profession. It has been my utmost desire to always see my learners climb up, to be at a higher position. It doesn't matter if I have to be in the primary school teaching for the rest of my life, but I will be the happiest person seeing my learners being at places that they desire to be. Seeing my learners realize their dreams, come to the realization that this is what I want for myself and this is what I have achieved for myself. So these are the petty things that helps us to bring about a change. Fine, we've all been brought up, we are seated in our various harness, minding our own businesses. Who cares if a learner doesn't learn? who cares if someone litters around? But day in, day out, we are seeing people who are advocating for keep the communities clean. People organize walks and then they go around to pick around, those things we throw around. People even go to the beach just to pick the rubbish and things we litter around. People are like, why are you doing this? And sometimes, when you are trying to create a change, you might also know that what is happening is not good, but it's like, okay, we don't care, it's not part of us. Or probably we have a better way of just going around it to find our way out. What about the others? How caring are we? Is it just about always saying, oh, this is my brother, but what are you doing to help save the situation? And that is why we always come up to bring about a change. And that is why it is good for you and I to always have the mindset. Even if we have fixed mindsets, as time goes on, as we see people coming on board to do things, we also need to follow. When Alberta was talking, I was just nodding my head. When I started growing up, there were a lot of things I never knew. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I could go back so that I can really do a lot of things. Because when I started growing up and I joined Ghana Think Foundation, where they carry out a lot of volunteering activities, that was when I was like, I have a lot in me that I can do. But those times in our public schools, we don't have those things that we try to help the kids come up with. But when I left the public sector, joined the international sector, I realized that children or the learners are being encouraged to look at problems in their communities, come out with solutions, try to solve these problems, and it gives them a lot of scholarships. So I always tell people that it's high time we inculcate those kind of things in our kids in the public schools, because a lot of them have great ideas. They have things that they can do. Even a time will come, if we really want to create this change in the minds of our learners, even starting from the very youngest person. I don't think the time will come we will even have Zoom Lion or whatever. Because when we train them and the child knows that when I am done with my waste, I need to put it in the dustbin. And someone also knows that at the end of the day, I don't have to allow the dustbin to get over, like to get full up and then the whole thing scatters around. But I have to pick it and dump it somewhere so that I don't think all those things and this malaria and all other things will be reduced. Yes, so it's all about the mindset. Even if we have the fixed mindset, coming to forums like this can help us change our mindset. So that is one of the things that helps us to change things in our communities. Not really we being beneficials, but people around us. When they benefit from us, from whatever we do, it also helps us. Thank you.
For a round of applause, the hands are very good. Stand up one day to just start doing what we are doing and getting here now. I mean, like you're saying, if we've learned and all that, or we've had trainings, I mean, people of older ancestors and our elderly, if some of them, because some are doing the right thing and good thing, what do you think have caused the younger ones or even the elderly who not make up their minds to change and, I mean, do the right thing so that the little ones following will do same? What caused it?
As in the cause, I would say that it's still about the mindset. It is still about the mindset. Now, in our societies, even what we are doing, sometimes even if you try to take up the initiative to do, some people are like, oh, you don't have anything doing. You have the time and all that. Yes, sometimes we get discouraged. And when a lot of people get discouraged, that is when we try to leave those things behind. Yes, all the fingers are not equal, yes. Definitely people will have money more than others and all that, but sometimes to Because we don't have that understanding, we don't know the extent to which the change we want to create can take us. That is when we go and then we try to come back, when people try to discourage us. Yes, and that is what has kept us where we are now. But as youth of today, I don't think we have to allow, we are human though, but we don't have to allow ourselves to get back into that. I believe in one thing: if we all come together and we start training ourselves, we start encouraging ourselves. We see people doing things and we are like, yeah, we give them thumbs up. We are like, yeah, that's the good way to go. Let's continue. And we all rally around each other. We can move. It's not a one-day wonder though. Yes, it's something that can take years. But I believe that if it continues, the generation following us, that thing will continue, and then people going and coming back will be solved. Yes. So most of the times it's because of our mindset, it's because of what people say that deter us, it's because of our society. Sometimes even in our society, this discrimination against women and all that. Yes, a woman standing up to say this, that, and people are like, no, women cannot be at the forefront and all that. So all those things deter us. Yes, and that is what has taken us to where we are now. But if we have to change our mindsets, if we have to know that yes, we have a lot in us that we can really work with and then help change the mindsets of others. A lot of people look up to many of us, yes, and so whatever we do will be a true reflection of whatever happens in our communities. And from the communities we are building on, and gradually we will cover the whole state. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Apodi. Moving on, we would want to know, in terraforming the future, you make up your mind, oh, I want to change Africa, I want to change, maybe starting from our little corners, we want to start from home, we would want to start in our communities. You start and you get people talking trash, and you are breaking down. You are so discouraged because you are the only one standing up and you're not getting anybody to support you. I mean, you don't have all the necessary resources, but the little you have, you would want to, start something. And you get people bombarding you with a whole lot of negative thoughts, and you will think about things and say, why am I even wasting my time in the first place? Besides, I'm not paid. Who is going to even applaud me for? I'm sitting somewhere and I wouldn't want to do it at all. We would want to know from Freedom Giants, Jifano, what the challenges are in doing that as Freedom Giants. When we make up our minds to start something like that, what are some of the challenges we face and how we can actually resolve them?
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Before I progress into speaking, I want to thank the President for putting this fabulous forum together. Initially, when I entered the room was well packed. I could really feel the African spirit in here. And as a matter of fact, when our guitarist played his music, I felt a chill through my nerve, and I realized that the words were really strong, and it's high time we begin to take actions as Africans. You've been doing a lot of talking, and this talking have never been of any help to us. As youth, it's high time we come to the table. But before I progress, I want to also salute my boss, Mr. Nsia. Mr. Nsia and I have always been having this social intercourse online. This today happened to be the first time I'm meeting him. But we've been meeting on Africa on Trial, and it has always been firework right there. And I always look up to him because of the intensity of his analysis and all that. Mr. Nsia, you're welcome very much. Okay. Looking at the term terraforming, I took my time. When I saw in fact, it's true, I really side with the moderator. When I saw the word first, I was thinking if Mr. President wanted to write transforming. But then something is like, you don't take hasty decision. Go to the root of the word and be sure of what exactly it's supposed to mean. So I took to my dictionary and I realized this work is fully packed. Then a friend of mine here, who is also a Pan-Africanist, I learned more from him. He's called Aram Amatoji. We normally meet on the Daily Focus. It's also online. When you go on YouTube, you'll see such videos. And he said, "See, this word is transforming." I said, "No, bro, it's not transforming." He said, "You were terraforming." He said, "Hey, Charlie, this one there is shiny." Like, I know I have to check the word first. I'm like, you didn't. So, yeah, the word terraforming, there were so many explanations that were given to it. When you look at the dictionary itself, it's more scientific. But when you want to go outside the dictionary, you realize that there are other things that the word was talking about. And I took the CCI. Which talks about to create, to change and improve. These three words, I think, are very, very strong. Yeah. To create, to change, and to improve. As the right definition I feel Mr. President wanted to use to talk about. We cannot sideline the likes of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Marcus Garvey, Secretary George Padmo. They've played significant roles to discuss in our African anatomy today. We have seen the likes of Rwanda President Mr. Kagame, who is doing very well. I've been following him, and then our boss, who helped me with his name, the lawyer Patrice Lumumba. He's also doing very great, and I've been following the EFF party from South Africa in Parliament. Why am I forgetting all these things? Anyways, now there are so many challenges that we are sure to face when we make our minds to terraform Africa, to get to that level where we chart our own course and we are the masters of our future. It is not going to be an easy road, and I always say it as a process, because the world that we call today as the superpowers have gone through this process in one way or the other. When you go to Rostow will tell you that there are some processes you need to go through before you'll be qualified to become a developed country. Where probably you have to go through agriculture, you have to mechanize your agriculture, you have to take off, and all the theories that have been propounded. In fact, theories have already been propounded, so all we need to do is to take action. But whilst we are taking action to terraform Africa, that's to create a system that will help the African anatomy, and then to make sure that this system brings about changes. Now, what kind of changes are we expecting? We are expecting positive changes that will bring about improvement. So when we are changing, we have to look at the kind of changes you are even looking at in the first place. Not just to go for change. Anything can be called change. Now, in terraforming Africa, we are bound to see so many problems, which I don't need to mention, but I'll be forced to. One of them is seen in what our sister, please let him again, is Madam Alberta came to speak about. You know, education is supposed to be free. When you go back to the days of Plato, he says the state, it benefits the state. That is why they say that the state must cater for our education. Even when you go to the 1992 Constitution, the FQ, the Free Compulsory Universal Basic Education, and while you are progressing academically, you are supposed to pay less so far as your education is concerned, even though it's not in existence. Alright, so for a lady who has dreams and want to climb higher into the academic echelons, to be asked to put something on the table before she's granted that right to education, I think is really abnormal, to put it. Let's just assume that she is the type that is a weakling and does not know where she is at the table. The so-called director, excuse my language if I should put it so, would have taken advantage of her. Now, is it the progress we are anticipating? So one thing that we need to do is to know where we are and accept who we are. That is the only way we can push up to where we want to be. You must know that being an African does not mean that you are a weakling. I always tell most people that I come to meet that sometimes when we go around and we see people of white colors, it looks as if we are lesser humans, and they are demigods, very supernatural, and they can do things by just clicking their fingers and all that. But so many times when I meet them, I rather feel that they are inferior to me because my presence alone should intimidate them. I will not give you that opportunity. Unless, of course, you have come to an agreement that we are all one and we meant one thing. Alright? So those are some of the things that happen whenever we want to progress Africa. Aside corruption. Corruption is one of the main things that have always crippled the level of Africa, that we cannot even leap at the sky. So much malfeasance of funds in higher places. And this corruption is not just about money, it's also about our behavior. We are so corrupt mentally, spiritually, physically, everythingly. It has even degenerated into the youth. See, when we want to even look at the student politics that we see today, it's a whole deal. Mr. President is here, so he will understand. Sometimes there are some powers be that want to cripple you, even when you want to do the right thing. They will not allow you to. So if that situation where you are a weakling and you don't have the voice, you'll be used as the needle to sew the laughing stocks. And at the end of the day, people will point a accusing finger at you as the one that has not been doing the right thing. When we want to progress Africa, I don't look at it at the magnanimous level. No. It must start from the infinitesimal, the lowest level, from our homes, from within us. My madam here says that we need to fix ourselves first. That is the only way we can fix Africa. That is the only way we can fix Ghana. If I'm not fixing myself, you are not fixing yourself. All of us here, we are not fixing ourselves. Our listeners, watchers are not fixing themselves. Then what is our purpose? We can't do anything. There is nothing we can do. If I drop, I litter the ground. You litter the ground. We litter the gutters. There will be flood. The president cannot come from the Jubilee House or Flagstaff House to come and pick the gutters. He says, yeah. Yes, he can. Yes, in so many occasions we've seen Rollins do that. And Kuma have been part of the Veranda Boys. He has always been with the youth on the street. Yes, of course. But the president cannot be everywhere. Alright, we are the government in our own way. So we need to take personal initiatives that will help change Africa for the best. Other things that also break our ability to terraform Africa is the fact that we have allowed some few individuals to kind of break the kind of vision that we expect to see. We give power to some few individuals. They come in and they now tell us where to sleep, when to wake up, what to eat. It's kind of a totalitarian system of government. We don't have a voice. We are in a country now where when you want to exercise your social rights, you are in trouble. Is that what we have come to as Africans? That we can no more say what is on our minds. The right to vote only means that we are giving you our power to hold you accountable. Is that not the case? When we go back to Thomas Hobbes and John Locke and the rest who propounded Leviathan, where we need to sacrifice our powers to one person so that the person will take control over the system and then activate those powers. Those powers are meant for us to question them. The period of the monarchical rule was not just begun because it needs to be gone. It is because we wanted to leave the system where we stayed in the state of nature, where everyone does everything anyhow. We want to have someone that we can hold accountable. We want to be united. We want to be civilized. Now we have given powers, and we want you to use or utilize these powers to make sure that we progress. When there is an African proverb that says that the one that creates the path does not see its crook behind him. You are at the echelon of leadership, very far away from the ground. And you cannot see very close. Those behind you are the one that will direct you that, oh, leader, if we should do it this way, it's not like you should take everyone's view, but you should consider all of them to be sure that this is the way to go. Because the country belongs to all of us. We all need to progress. We need to put food on our table. We need to shelter ourselves. We need clothes. There are people on the street. Sometimes when you go around the street and you see some on the street begging for alms, and some people even attacking them, shouting at them, and you begin to wonder, are there no systems in place? How can we terraform when these things are still in existence? We are looking at them and we've closed eye to them as if they don't exist. The only thing we are interested in is trying to package money for our retirement. How can we progress in another way when we are putting square pegs in round holes? You can go to some offices and the people you see in charge, it is clear that it's not by merit. Because they don't know what they are about. See, meanwhile, that office is supposed to serve a purpose. It is a system, an institution. When Obama came to Africa, Ghana to be precise, he said what? What do we need? Is it strong institutions or strong men? We need both. We need men that are strong and bold, like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Marcus Garvey, those who don't shiver when you throw fears at them. And we also need institutions that are very strong and up and doing. So if these people are in such institutions only pulling it back, then how can we move? That is one of the problems that we face. And it's the hard truth. You may graduate from school, go to an office, seek a job, and sometimes these directors will just come out and say, this position is meant for my daughter who is in SHS. When we rise as Africa, we want to create systems that will bring change, and this change will bring about improvement in Africa. We've been talking about United Nations of Africa. Is that not the case? But here we are, when there is an issue happening in another country, we'll sit back and watch. We can see, because they say that country is probably a sovereign state and can do anything that he or she wants. From 1963, right? Is that not the AU? When the AU was in 63, right? And then in 2003, Gaddafi also came in to turn into the AU. And from 2003 to thereabouts till now, what have we seen? We are even worse, not the same. We are not progressing. Now, we have allowed our leaders to take that path. It's the time for us, the youth, to tell ourselves what we want. Because the life that is ahead of us is more than the life ahead of those leaders. If we allow them to guide us into the gutters, they will leave us. And when they leave us, we are the one going to leak those gutters. We don't need any much hands to change these things. You are my brother, my sister, Mr. President, moderator, in our own least capacities. I believe we can start these changes. The only way we can be able to see these challenges in the face and deal with them is for us to be bold. We are not bold. The youth today, we don't speak our mind. It's like this African culture that the child is only seen and not heard. Those things don't apply to me. Unless, of course, I don't want to speak. And I wouldn't like to do it in a disrespectful manner. I would still like to tell you that I hold a different view of what you are doing. It's either you accept it or you leave it. Just that one is your choice. We are not bold. A friend told me some time ago that if we were Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, we would still be colonized. And I accept it. Because who is going to speak up? Me. Hey, I don't want to be on the cross. So I wouldn't speak up. That's one problem. So one way we can deal with these challenges, to me, is for us to begin to be bold. We need to take bold steps. Let's just, when you take this bold step, you have the people behind you, because they believe that whatever you are doing is for their emancipation. And even if you don't have them behind you, you still know what you are doing within yourself is the right thing to do. It's personal conviction. The other way I also feel we can do this, whilst we are looking bold, we are trying to take bold steps, we should also be able to face fear. Fear is one thing that will cripple your mind, will cripple your hand, will cripple your leg, and if you don't take time, you will die early. Death is for all of us. We'll surely die one day. Of late, when you look at what happens around, even the young are dying and the old are dying. So death is no more anything. But what name do you leave behind? You may be able to live more than a century if you live right. You may be able to live or die before you even live. It's our choice. Africa is going into the mud. In as much as I'm believing that we are saying we are changing, we are progressing, looking at the anatomy, I think there is so much work that still needs to be done. We need to begin to fly the flags of Africa. And for that matter, Ghana. Because Ghana needs to change. Things need to get better. We've never read the budget, a financial statement, and then we break even before. It has never happened. Right? But it happened in other countries where they even have allocations for youth and children and the rest. Meanwhile, everything you buy, there is tax, even this water. You are taxed. Are these monies meant for just a few individuals? Can we terraform in that manner? No, we can't terraform in that manner. Our courts, nowadays when people speak, they say that they don't have trust in the court anymore. You all remember the goat incident. I don't want to speak about that one. Alright, and you see, there are judges in here, there are lawyers in here, there are presidents in here, there are ambassadors in here, there are public speakers in here, and a whole lot. If you and I have decided to path a route that is free of all this kind of negativities, don't we think the terraforming can really take place? Because just imagine the gentleman here becomes the president of Ghana, and he is part of AVI, African Voices International, and he has cooked his mind to embrace positive change. Are we going to expect something different from better? No. So it means that when you take it upon yourself, I take it upon myself, all of us here take it upon ourselves. It may not get better now, but as we work, as we progress, as we endeavor, we are getting there. As we propagate the gospel according to the Pan-Africanism, we will get there. But Kwame Nkrumah didn't take a day. We all know the hell he went through. Marcus Garvey, the Universal Negro Improvement Association that he created. And he traveled all the way to the hemisphere, southern hemisphere of America, and all that he has done there, the black sheep, and trying to bring Africans back from the diaspora. Mr. Nsia always preach about that when we want to terraform, we need to make sure that the diaspora join. I always listen to that video, Mr. Nsia, all the time. I play that portion and I feel it's a very strong message. Yes, but we all need to come to the table. We all need. So, without much to say, I think these are the things. We've seen the challenges. Yes, the corruption, nepotism, favoritism, trying to exercise powers because we have given it to them. looking down upon people. These are some of the things that we see. But we need to stand our ground. You and I, we are not less Ghanaians, neither are we less Africans. Alright? Yes. So I don't want to bring this in the quest of what we are doing, but when the Rastafarian issue happened in Achimota, right? I was on the daily focus on that issue, and I was trying to say that the Rastafarian has the right to education first before he has he's entitled to his religious ideologies, and then he also has the right to education. His physical appearance should not deter him from achieving. And my opponents, when the courts pass their judgment, and it tends to be the other way around. And I quite remember the school's regulations want to fight the 1992 constitution. I updated my status. Regulation versus constitution. Who is who? We need to respect the constitution. This was what we have made for ourselves to guide us to go in a particular tangent. Political men are still.
She said, how can we resolve some issues? There are just 4 points I want to just raise here. And the first is for us to stand tall. For us to stand tall. For us to stand tall. Standing tall does not mean you are standing and raising your head and saying, I want to stand tall. But it's saying that you are being committed to your vision of not letting yourself become influenced by any foreign opinion. Standing tall. You have to first of all stand tall, rise up. Tell yourself that I was not called to just be in the pit. I was not called to be in prison. I was not called to be humiliated. I was not called to be rejected. But you're called to stand tall, to rise up. Not to rise up for people to see you as the Rosa Parks of the global anatomy, or the Winnie Mandela of the global anatomy, or the Oprah Winfrey, but to be the freedom giant. You bring liberation to people when you stand tall. So you need to first of all rise up, begin to work on bringing emancipation wherever you are, because there needs to be, and whether you like it or not, it will happen, but it must be through someone, and you are the person. You are phenomenal just as you are. Maybe you just love yourself, you love how your hairstyle is, maybe you love the clothes you wear, and it looks like you are the only person who likes what you do. You are made like that for a reason. Maybe you like, certain kinds of art designs. You just see them and you are just dying like as in going to heaven. You are so happy, so elated. And other people are there and they see that and they don't do anything in what you see. Do not settle for less. Keep on focusing, stand on that goal. Now 2, fight the battle. As you stand tall, you open up yourself to be confident enough to fight the battle, because you're able to see all the adversities, you're able to see all the deformities, all the dejections, all the adversities that are trying to sabotage the global anatomy down. You don't settle for less. You know, one time I think, was it one of my friends getting on a party? I told one of my friends that one thing that makes me mad sometimes is when I see sachet waters on the floor. One time I was walking by, I don't really know whether there's on the air, but I was walking by the jogging house and I saw a sachet water there. It's just there. I was like, wow, this is the seat of the presidency where everyone passes, where people come to take pictures and put it everywhere. How can this be? Doesn't mean that I was not born in a better place. No, I was born in a better place, but you also have a part to play. I want to pick the sachet and I put it everywhere. You don't just settle for seeing sachet waters around and you're like, it's normal, come on, after all. I will wait one good now. No, you are the one to go, you are the freedom giant. So fight the battle. If you're a lady here, you want to do something and you feel like you're a lady, come on, how can I just do this? You were called for a reason, you were called to be the emancipator. I was telling someone about how I really love I think I was telling say now, yeah, she's here. But how I love Joyce, if we don't say now, but how I love Joyce Banda. She's come to this anatomy at a particular time, which is so phenomenal. And everyone needs her. When she comes to Ghana, everyone is under her. Both NPP, CPP, NDC, both men of God, because they see something in her. Like more that if she was not a vice president at this time, we would have been lacking something. She's a message to the global anatomy. So you are the one who has been picked out to bring that liberation, to bring that change. Rosa Parks was someone who we all know who was in the past, who back then in the United States of America, when you were black, you were not allowed to sit in front. She said, come on, how can this happen? No, I will not allow this arrangement to be sustained. So she went to sit in front one day. Then white man came and told her that, who are you to sit in front? It turned into an issue. She took the case to court, and through her, that policy was exchanged, was removed, was pulverized. So you are the one who has been called to fight a battle. Yasanta was not any, in terms of her anatomy, she was not any, she was just a normal lady. But she has now become a name. There's an ideology, the Yasanta ideology. So you are going to fight a battle. And 3, you have to do the right thing as you fight the battle. Do the right thing. Go through the right processes. Be the reflection of what you are trying to seek for. Yes, be it. Be it. Get time to articulate all your measures, all your logic to see that you are in the particular freedom giant. You are a freedom giant of charisma, of change, who wants to see that everywhere you are, there's something going on. There's a kind of liberation going on. I don't care what people may say. I know that there is something called freedom. And through freedom, the anatomy can thrive excellently. I've seen a lot of people from diverse kinds of places, villages, a lot of places, bro. We grew up in Accra. A lot of people who grew up in Bogatanga, but they are first class students. But there are people who are like, who are you? What do you have? You want to make it. You want to let us know that you are someone. Come on, shut up. You have to see that and fight the battle. I've been thinking, some of my friends are right, they didn't say, maybe they didn't choose Legon, or they didn't apply for Legon or Cape Coast or Tech or Radford or Nightford. They wanted to go to UD and see because they love that place. You have a vision where you are, so realize that vision. And 4, let's learn to celebrate ourselves. That's why we have stuff like International Human Rights Day, International Children's Day, International Father's Day, Mother's Day. Let's celebrate who we are. That's how we can keep on progressing, be metamorphosed from one level to the other, keep on progressing, keep on doing it. You all know the system that were meant to segregate the white from the blacks back in South Africa, whereby they were all the same client. If you're white, come on, you are at the top. If you're black, just settle for less. Now is the time for celebrate their freedom in South Africa, in every anatomy as a whole. We celebrate who we are. So you who are here, you are here celebrating yourself. There's a hallmark that you are laying here, wherever you are. I just saw my honorable friend, Pastor Idrichum, and I was like, I just remember back in those days. I don't feel shy to say certain things. I was actually, my dad passed away when I was around 3 years old. So actually was living with my stepdad, and actually it was in St. Thomas Aquinas with him. So we all used to walk together and go to the 7 station. And they were like, come on, you need to leave the school to a boarding school. Come on, but I was doing all in my reports. Why? And but I knew what I wanted. So they're not with my father. And we now love each other all. Like in the end, when I left, I saw that now I was supposed to be at a particular place. I was supposed to be in a particular region. That was where senior high school that I went, I thank God for going there. Once you fight the battle, oh come on, you always bring freedom everywhere. You know, part of our boards, we have a couple of people. I've had legendary friends from Ghana Senior High School. Some of them are here. Some of our staffs are there. So we must fight the battle to bring a balance that we can be conquered and celebrate ourselves at the end. So you are here today because you fought a particular battle. You know, in 2021, this is our job survival. You can only survive for African Voice International. You can only survive when you stand tall, when you fight the battle, when you do the right thing and you celebrate yourself. You may have done it, but you may not have known you have done it. Sometimes I get time to go to the poolside just by myself. I can get time just to play some music, celebrate who you are. I just didn't say that I just want to just wear this attire or just no. But you are made for a reason. Whenever I look at everyone, when I look at Freedom Giant Alberta Yosin, she's very beautiful. When I look at Freedom Giant Caroline Ikuya Dapa, jeez, she is phenomenal. When I'm talking with her, she's phenomenally beautiful. You see, beauty is not about your anatomy. Beauty is about who you are. And I've realized that beauty from them. What comes out from you is your beauty. So celebrate yourself for who you are. One of the reasons why I like and I love Freedom Legend Jifano is because he's a survivor. When I say he's a survivor, I thought he was supposed to win the SLC. He was supposed to be the president of Legon. But he did not let that break him down. He still went and he is going and going and going and going everywhere. So we have to stand tall. We have to fight the battle. There's an internal battle we all have to fight. We have to do the right thing. And four, we have to celebrate ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Isaac Kwedu. Time has been fast spent, and I know some people are still battling with a little more in their mind. So I would like to pick about 2 or 3 questions. If there are any suggestions, any one of us would want to bring up.
I just like to digress a little bit because whilst I'm trying to kind of contribute to Pan-Africanism, I just couldn't get this fix the country thing out of my head. And I think the panelists are right to point out about us fixing ourselves. But I think that argument really gets our leaders off the hook. There are people in this country who are paying themselves a lot of money, our money, to do things, and they're not doing anything. That's what fix the country is about. And part of fixing ourselves is about getting together to get our leaders to lead, because there's no leadership. And in fact, I don't know if you've seen some common joke on WhatsApp, trending on WhatsApp, a new sex position called Akufo-Addo. Yes, apparently you don't talk and do nothing. And I think it's common, but it's still funny. Yeah. This is serious. By saying we should fix ourselves, we are actually letting our leaders off. So it's just both. The leaders must fix the country, and we have to fix ourselves as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Itia. Right. Please, is there any question, any suggestion, any recommendation?
My name is Gideon Appointed. Actually, I went for a funeral, but I had to switch home and come here very early. I told myself I'll try my very best to be here by all means. Okay, so I have a suggestion, and then my suggestion is that in uniting Africa, because me here standing here right now, I'm an Nkrumahist, especially, and then my friend and then my brother Isaac knows it very well. So everywhere I go, in my speech and everything, after I finish speaking, everyone sees that this guy is really an Nkrumahist. Yes. And then in Africa right now, there are so many challenges going on. And then from the way we are tackling things, I think we are not approaching it the right way. We think that we are doing what we can, but underground, there are so many things that we need to tackle very strongly. Because I know that in this world right now, there's so much competition and there's so much struggle for survival in the world. And then when you look at the whole world, Africa is what? Blessed than any other continent in the world. We have the vast resources, everything, even our land alone should provide us with food that we cannot even eat and then keep to ourselves, but to even extend it to other places. But what is there is that our leaders are not really doing the most to help the people of Africa. Yes, because one thing that I've come to realize is that power has corrupted our leaders. Power has really corrupted them, and then let me say the kind of luxury we give them is what makes them not to sit up and do what we need. Because sometimes when I'm there, I tell myself that when I give you a work to do in this room and I said you should do everything, and I provide you with food and bed to sleep on and do everything, you will not do the work, you eat, and when you are tired, you sleep. When I come back, I'll realize that you've done nothing. So right now, what is going on in Africa, and let me take Ghana for example, is that we've given so much luxury to our leaders, so much comfort. We pay them highly. They don't even pay for light bills. They don't even pay for even petrol in their cars. We provide them everything, so they don't feel what the ordinary Ghanaian is feeling. Yes. So until when we try to change certain things, this country will still not be. And it's not just Ghana alone. It's going on everywhere in Africa here. And we need to rise up. We need to make sure that they are really delivering on what we are giving to them. And then what is there is that I always want to say that this is something that is very strong. And then I watched the video and then I felt really bad. I felt really bad because this video was about the whites, their agenda and their plan against what? Africans. Because they realize that when Africa unites and Africa moves forward, they are really cut off because they are so their source of what? Their production and everything, their survival and everything depends on Africa. So their agenda and their aim is that if Africa should stand on its feet, they are no more going to be who they are. So they need to keep Africa where it is. And we are always moving with them, going there and that. But your enemy is what? The one right beside you. Yes. They are now infiltrating our continent and our country with so many things that are going on. You can see our countries right now. They've spoiled everything by giving us so much loan that right now we cannot even go pay. So when the time comes for us to even pay them, we have to give our reserves to them, our gold mines, our bauxite and everything to them for them to mine till they want, till they are what? Till they want no more. Because we cannot even pay them. So this time around, we need to wake up as Africans, because there's one thing that I learned from China and some of the most Asian countries. At first, they were also like third world countries like Ghana, and then some other countries in Africa. But today, see where they are. They rose up. And then now they are also what superpowers. We can now even compare them to America. We can compare them to Britain and some of the countries in Europe. Because they rose up to themselves and they realized that no, we don't have the resources, but other countries, other Americans and all also are trying to also do something in Africa to get what they want. So we need to rise up. Yes. So right now they also what send out what their people to other countries, other universities, and then they give them better scholarship and everything. But they also went, they did their best and came back to help their home. But right now, when you look at this and our people in the diaspora, they don't have any intention. They only come here to eat. They come here to take pictures. They come here to just mingle, and then they go back. They are not bringing any knowledge down to us. What they have learned there, what they have experienced there, so many things. They are not helping us. So if the diaspora is listening to me or they are hearing what I'm saying, they need to also channel their what they've learned over there and their technologies and everything down to Africa to come. Because Africa has so many opportunities. There are so many untapped opportunities in Africa that we can do to help. Yes. So if I want to say all these things, time will really go. So I just want us to take.
Thank you very much. You said a lot. Hey, the questions are coming in. But please, when you take the microphone, because time is fast, I'd like us to make it really short. So please let me take his and then I'll follow.
Thank you. I just wanted to add something to what he said. We just have to embrace ourselves. We just have to see ourselves as Ghanaians, as Africans. You know, this is the case. We Africans see ourselves like we just have to follow their footsteps. No, we just have to embrace ourselves for who we are. The Chinese, they embrace themselves. They don't say, they accept it. But why is it that we Ghanaians, we are black and then we don't want to accept that we are blacks? We just have to accept the fact that we are Ghanaians. Ghanaians will always be Ghanaians. We just have to embrace ourselves. That's all I just want to say. We should embrace ourselves and we should be bold. The boldness is one thing. You should be bold because when you go to another country and then you're not bold, you can't do anything. You can't even move. You just have to be bold and brave to establish everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to say, based on Africa, I'm bringing a suggestion. I'm also saying the leaders are working on it. In Africa, I would say, what is really fighting with the Africans? It's not the education, it's tribalism. It's tribalism. Tribalism is a thing that is a key that is fighting with the Africans. For example, I'll use Nigeria for example. When you go to Nigeria right now, if you are not a Yoruba, you can't stand as a president, or a Hausa, you can't stand as a president in Nigeria. These two things. If you are Igbo, forget, they are not moving with you. But if you are an Yoruba or a Hausa, then you can stand as a president. And when you look at the nation Ghana itself, it's happening over here also. If you are not an Achim, you can't stand as a president. If you are not an Asante, you can't stand as a president. Neither if you're Muslim, then forget, you can't even stand at all. You understand what I'm trying to say? And also, I'll say that in Africa, the reason why corruption is everywhere is that we don't fight corruption. We don't fight, we manage corruption. The reason why white people are going far in life is because they manage corruption. For example, if let me say Donald Trump left an expensive before he left the chair, when Joe Biden comes on the seat, he does not say he's going to fight the corruption. He manages the corruption. He had not for the country to pay a lot of debt to another country. And also, I'll say that I want to give 5 things that we Africans need to work on it. Number 1 is our education. Number 1 is our education. The education is very important. Our education is very, very important. Number 1 is that we should take away political racism. no tribal racism, political racism. When you look at South Africa, the thing that causes chaos in South Africa is political racism. The apartheid and the rest is political racism. When we fight against these things, it will help Africans. Number two is environmental degradation. Environmental degradation. The third one is environmental degradation. Then the fourth one, I'll say the population. You see, when you look at China like that, the way that China is going far, it's so easy. It's so easy. They look to their state and their income that they make in the state each and every day. So they look to the population, let me say in Ayawaso West, maybe in Ablekuma Central, Ablekuma West, and they say, okay, this income is going in, this constituency is taking a worth of much income that can go to the other constituency. So let us tell them, okay, from today, nobody in this area should give birth to more than 4 kids. And they also apply to the rules, just for their good income to their country. Then the next one also is the database. The database, the one is the key thing worrying with the Africans. The database, for example, as we are sitting here right now, most of us don't even know the credits and the cost we made. We don't even know how much we've even spent in the credits and the cost. But when you go to the States, before you make a call, before you finish your call, then you know the number or the money you've spent. But in Ghana, before you even finish your call, you don't know, but they'll tell you start with your 50% and their customer, you have a little bit of yeah, you understand me. So the database is very important. Then the other one is that we need to build up self-good income to ourselves. Self-good income to ourselves. And sorry to take the time, forgive me for this. When you look at Ghana like this, I'm saying this thing. Ghana itself. Ghana, I say Ghana. We need to further more on the street side. We need to look more on the street side. Because let me say this thing to you. Before God and man, and I tell on the grounds of authority that we stand in, the person standing on the roadside, he has nothing to gain and nothing to offer and nothing to lose. So if you don't go in for that person, and you become an MP or a minister, you are sitting in a house, he has nothing to lose, he has nothing to gain, he has no children, he has nothing. It is if he gets annoyed, he backs into your house. Who made him to back into the house? Is he himself or you? See yourself. So we need to back on the street side and also watch the youth. Because the youth is the key factor to the nation and to where the nation is going to. And also, I like to say this now. Ghana, we have a nation with so many religious, we are a nation with so many religious components and people in the country. But you see, let me say this in we're giving ourselves to people that even you, when you sit down and you look at him, you say, we are doing better than the person standing there. Let me say this thing. I don't know whether Nigeria is here, but I follow Nigerian news very well. According to Nigeria, the capital city in Nigeria and the capital market, if you're foreign, you can't sell over there. Neither you can't even make a table and even sell water over there. It's forbidden. It's against their law. It's against their law. It's against their law in Nigeria. It's forbidden that their capital market, in their capital city, you even set up or you even carry water selling. If you're a foreigner, it's against the law in Nigeria. Unless you're in Nigeria before you can sell over there. So I used to ask myself, and I used to tell people that have been asking, why is it that Ghana will allow people, you now your country, your second, a Nigerian man is telling you what you should do. And I believe that when we put our feet down and we stand to the ground very well. Just like what the president said, looking to see from afar or to stand tall, not to stand on something for you see, but to have an aim and a goal. And I'll conclude by saying this that Africa as a nation, we were born naked, but we were not born empty. We were born naked, but we were not born empty. The reason why the whites are prospering is not because of prayer, it's because of revelation. The insight, the revelation they receive in the house. So I used to listen to this great man of God, Bishop Ismatodo. He said that, he says, prayer is not the success of equation, but the success of equation is revelation. The reason why the whites are going forward is by revelation. Let me say, for example, you go to, what's the name? This Kumasi. Then they say, gold is here. Then you see somebody going to call a man of God. Come and pray for me. My mother and my family said, they said, gold here. But when they tell a white man that gold is here, you will go to Ibrahim and just at your room. Order for excavator, go there and just bring this revelation. So I want us to build up on revelation keys and also on certain matters for Africa so that the nation in Africa is.
I think we'll end our session here because time has been fast spent. But before we end the dialogue, I want to go through what we've learned so far. So we've seen, or we've now understood what terraforming the future means. I mean, terraforming in the first place. Freedom Giant, if I know, mentioned that it means to create, from the dictionary he used, to create, to change, or to create, to change and to improve, or to improve. And we've also known the importance of terraforming the future, which Miss Precious Aplome went through with us and made us understand that we don't have to sit by ourselves and do whatever we want or just be quiet in our little corners, but fix our minds first. As we've heard in news that we should fix the country, in our own little way we can fix ourselves and then make the global anatomy a very good place. And we also understood from Mr. Isaac Wedu to what the things we can do to actually solve Africa's problems by standing tall, fighting the battle to doing the right thing and then celebrating ourselves. And in doing so, we don't need to do all of that by ourselves. But whatever we have heard, we are going out there to make that change. And in making that change, I don't think you need to do that alone. That would be so selfish of us. As we've heard it, all of us couldn't come, all of us couldn't make it. But going out there, we can tell other people, maybe they may not take our word, but through our actions, they are going to see that change and they are going to follow suit and then do the right thing as well, so that it will be easier for us to, live peacefully. Even though we are living peacefully, I don't think it's still enough. We can still do better and make the global anatomy a very safe haven for us. Before I hand over the mic to my co-host, I'd like us to sing another song. I think I love songs, so I think I would say it's a prayer that as Africans, as we've heard this, as we go about our change in our own little way in our homes, and wherever we find ourselves, we should pray that there's, I mentioned earlier that there should be love, but the Lord should bind us. Because if we are not bound together, I don't think, like Freedom Giant Alberta mentioned, if the bones are together, they never get broken unless we are divided, unless it's single-handedly removed. That one you can't break it. But when we are together, bones can never be broken. So we pray that the Lord binds us together with cords that can never be broken, so that we can change the world and make it our own and make it how we want it, how we want to make it. Together, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with love. That's all the song goes, so we can join. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with love. Please hold somebody's hand beside you. You know the surrender, but you don't feel anything at all. Grab the hand of somebody and let's spread this prayer to our God that we are bound with love. So let's sing it again. Go! Bind us together, Lord, bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with love. Oh Lord, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together, Lord, bind us together with love. Thank you all so much. I'm honored that I hosted you. My name is Caroline Nikwadapa, and it's been such an amazing dialogue. Hope that as we go, we are going to be doers of the word, of the dialogue, so that we can make Africa a happy place to live in. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting and educative dialogue. Thank you everyone for coming. So now you're home. We all want to go home. So please, if you have not written your name, you can follow us on our website www.africanvoiceinternational.org. So if you haven't done that, you can do it now. You tap the link, then you register. Then we'll be taking pictures downstairs. We have to create memories.
Pushing together, birds of one feather, pulling together, we're still the same birds of one feather. 500 years, black people still can't see so much misery, so much pain and poverty, spreading war and rumors of war. Black people still cannot see. United we stand, divided we fall. And this my little song is to urge you to unite, cause we're still the same birds of one feather. So we got to be pushing together, cause we're birds of one feather. We gotta be pulling together, because we're still the same birds of one feather. Feel the music from the getaway, live and direct Emancipation Day, crying forever together, we're still the same birds of one feather. I feel the music from the getaway, live and direct Emancipation Day, crying forever together, we're still the same birds of one feather. Yeah, we're still the same, still the same, still the same birds of one feather. And we're still the same, still the same, still the same birds of one feather. Yeah, yeah.